Welcome to another Dirtradamus podcast. A podcast, but I am today's host, Punk, and I'm joined by my faithful companions.
I'm Lambo.
I'm Dr. Pants.
And I'm Dad.
Woo, we did it.
Yeah. It only took 16 tries? It wasn't too bad.
I just saw Pants and Lambo a little bit earlier today.
Right. We filmed a bunch of content, a couple of videos.
Yeah. I played some games. That was fun.
Oh, God.
And plus, it's been a while.
I still feel gross.
Yeah. That's
inside and out.
Not out yet.
I mean, we had the
Not out yet.
tastiest soul food you could imagine. It was serious soul food.
It was. It was a lot of peanut butter and pickles.
Soul?
Huh?
God. It's the grossest episode we've done.
No way. No way.
I'm sorry. What other episode have we done that's that gross?
The love episode a few years ago, that was pretty gross.
That was not gross. How dare you? How dare you?
I have no idea what's going on.
I just expressed my love for some characters.
Fair enough, fair enough.
How are you doing, Dad?
I'm living it up. I'm confused on what you guys are talking about, but I'm excited to be here.
And actually, I'm really happy that you're here because this is episode 2. We had our first episode just come out as of this recording, a week ago?
Yep, a little bit over that, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this one comes out soon. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. It'd be cool if we could do these more than once a month, you know?
It'd be nice to get into that role, yeah.
Right.
But
let's shoot for once a month now.
Yeah, it's a start. Yeah, we're doing good.
We're shooting for 4 times a month.
4 times a month.
One episode a day. I wanted to kind of talk about the name of our podcast. A podcast, but. And it's actually from something Dad kind of, I don't know, just started within our chats.
See, now I'm not prepared.
Now you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Just all you have to do is talk about your love of steamed hams.
I know.
Exactly.
So several times I've tried to go back and watch through the entire Simpsons series, and Dr. Pants has gotten further than I have. I've made it to about season 14. I think the last time I tried, I got to the end of season 14, and I just dropped off. But one of the things that always, I just can't stop watching these steamed ham clips on YouTube. There's thousands of them, and they all do different things. I don't know.
Where did this come from? I want to know the first person who was like, "Oh, steamed hams. I'm going to make something out of this."
Okay, here's my funny thing with this. This is my funny thing is yeah, we've been talking about it a little bit recently because they've been thrown in the group chat and whatnot, but they were around years ago. This is not a new thing.
Good Lord, what is happening
it's coming
in there?
back.
Aurora Borealis?
Aurora Borealis!
Contained entirely within your kitchen.
I think the thing about it is that the clip just has this weird cadence to it that it just, when you watch it once, it's really funny, but then you watch it,
it's got a who's on first kind of a vibe going on.
Sorta, but you watch it 50 more times. You have to get to the 50 mark, and once you start watching it more than 50 times, it becomes hilarious.
You can really get into a rabbit hole if you just Google steamed hams butt, and it knows what you want.
My personal favorites are always the ones that are it's steamed hams, but every second is a different animation style or something, because there's actually a couple of those, and I love them.
There's an older one and a more recent one, I will agree, yeah.
And it's absolutely insane the amount of creativity that people have to put into just a weird, crappy 2-minute video to throw on YouTube. Some of these are absolutely brilliant. There's some edits that are done like a horror movie, and some of them are done really well. Some of them are done really bad. But man,
we have one.
What's that?
Ours. We have one out there.
But the tedious process that some of these go through, where it's steamed hams, but every word is the first time it's been uttered in the video. So, so like the word
Or all the words are in alphabetical order.
yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
who sits there for hours on end and just edits this to something insane? You know?
Never underestimate the patience and dedication that people on the internet have for making something dumb.
And
Because
sometimes it's
that
not
is what the
dumb.
internet-
Sometimes it's really good and like hilarious.
No, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying like it's in the mindset like you can think like, oh, this is really good, but just think about it. Someone took a clip from like a 20, 30-year-old episode of The Simpsons. Like a clip from one episode that, I mean, memorable or not, they just decided to mess with it and turn it into a meme. And like in itself, like you think about that, like just think about the basis of it, and you're like, that's dumb, but you can get something amazing out of it.
Yeah.
It's a
And
beautiful
it's not just
canvas upon which you can, paint your own thing,
Yeah.
And the funny
And
part
this-
is that it's not even like part of a bigger story. It's part of a skit episode. Where it's like 3 or 4 like small stories within one episode. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And this
And
isn't
it's like
even
what, like 3 minutes long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just on YouTube as well. Like they have someone made an actual game for it. I think it's like a 16-bit game.
Yeah, someone
and
made
it's
it a text
also,
adventure, right?
I think so. I haven't played it. I have it downloaded. I
Right.
just haven't actually done anything with it. But it's also in other video games, like not really big ones, but there's some mobile game that has a reference to steamed hams in it.
That's hilarious.
And I'm almost positive that some of those cooking channels have gone and done a steamed hams episode on their YouTube channel, where they're like making Skinner's steamed hams.
Actually, I think Baking with Babish has done that.
Binging with Babish.
Binging. What did I say?
Baking.
No, I didn't say
Baking.
that. I said binging.
Roll the clip.
Roll the clip. Yeah.
So anyway, we're talking about this meme, but so it became a big thing in our chat, and I guess the naming came down to pretty much we wanted to name the podcast like it's a podcast, but in every episode it's
Yeah.
something different, kind of like it's steamed hams, but so.
I think
Our-
the
our-
first
our-
round of the naming was though that the podcast was going to be called wasn't it be called steamed hams butt, and then that was going to be the name of every episode. Like we were actually going to put steamed hams in the name of the podcast.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
but I don't know if we can. And
Yeah.
also, we really don't have anything to do with steamed hams.
I know, and it would be very, very misleading for a lot of people. People would listen in and be very, very upset. I promise.
I am 99, not 100, but 99% certain this is the only episode we're going to talk about steamed hams. But there's that 1% chance it'll come back. We'll
you
bring it
know
up
it's
again.
going to come back. That is complete BS. How dare you talk about such things?
I said 1%. I said 1%. So
it's
there's
coming
a
back
chance.
next episode, easy.
Beautiful.
So for example, though, our last episode, or our first episode of the repilot was, it's a podcast, but it's a mess.
And
Because-
that honestly didn't even have anything to do with the episode either, but it totally worked. Yeah.
Yeah,
It did. I in hindsight, I realized we should have called it like it's a podcast, but it's a repilot,
Yeah.
because it was us doing a podcast for the first time in 2-3 years.
2020
Yeah.
was the last time we uploaded one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but that is why the podcast is named that.
Yeah.
Oh.
there you go.
I was gonna say it's just nice to be back doing this, and technology has advanced in a way that we don't all have to be in the room to do it. We can record it on our own in different places, and just our wonderful audio editor Lambo can put it together with the greatest of ease.
Scoop-de-whoop.
I do prefer seeing everybody, but
We could
put our
always
cameras on.
always put our cameras on.
yeah, be like a work meeting.
Nah,
Do it all through Zoom.
All right,
I'm good.
first order of business.
I want to wear funny hats and have nobody see me.
I mean, I'm already in my pajamas.
Oh, what's that from?
Futurama.
That's right. I've been watching through that too.
Are there any other Matt Groening shows we can bring up?
Well, that's the deal. I was going to say about like all the Fox shows. Like, which one of them haven't come back yet now?
Oh yeah, we got
the
King of the Hill
PJs?
coming back.
They should bring the PJs back, actually. Though.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah, they should.
No, they shouldn't.
No.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I mean, I will argue that they should bring the Critic back.
We would have a lot to talk about today. I think that would be a lot of fun, actually.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. Do you know that Jay Sherman does make an appearance again in The Simpsons in like season 15 or 16?
Oh, like many years later?
Yeah, he comes back. It's kind of funny for like a second.
That's ridiculous. I just had to bring up the because the King of the Hill thing. I mean, you guys are ridiculous King of the Hill fans. We can save that for another podcast episode, but if you want to unpack it.
We could totally unpack it.
Before we get to our next
I would be totally down to unpack that because it is big.
Yeah, I say let's almost save it for the reboot of the show. You know, when it starts to pop up. You know.
Well, I mean, we can at least say a little bit of our piece here because I do want to bring up the fact that like we're in a big era of reboots where things are just coming back, and
is Reboot coming back?
What?
Reboot? You say
I
Reboot's
wish.
coming back?
I wish. Well, Reboot did come back.
Did it?
As a live action
Yes,
show.
there is a sequel series on Netflix that is mostly live action.
It looks it's trash. Don't watch it.
It's absolute garbage. Do not watch it. The series ended on a good note. It did not need to come back that way. So, but Dad, I don't know about you, but given all the reboots and continuations that have come back years later, I'm really apprehensive.
If Hulu can give Mike Judge the freedom to do what he wanted to do with a reboot, I think it has potential. He wanted to age the characters 10 years and kind of make it more of a continuation of the story than like an actual reboot, you know, bringing it back.
That's not a problem. My issue is if you look at shows like Fuller House, that 90s show, like those two examples stick out in my brain a lot because, you know, we've got direct continuations of series aged up like 10, 20 years, you know?
Yeah. However, unless they hire like a new group of people to do voices and everything, it's Mike Judge doing the same characters all the time. You know?
But that's again not my issue. It's just like both Fuller House, that 90s show, and the Frasier reboot is a go-to, or not a reboot, but like that's a continuation also.
Yeah.
And I'm really apprehensive about that because I feel like it's just a cash-in. I feel like they're just doing it.
Well, yeah.
But here,
the
only reason I want to maybe save this for the future is there's so many good examples of from the 90s. There were a ton of reboots of stuff from the 60s and 70s. And we accepted it and loved it because we were young and we didn't know better. You know, we got Charlie's Angels and, dude, we even got a crappy freaking Miss McHale's Navy movie. Like that didn't need to be rebooted. Like what the heck?
No, it didn't.
I mean, you even look at something as stupid as like Mork and Mindy was like a continuation of.
It was a spin-off of Happy Days.
Oh, Happy Days, yeah.
Yeah, Laverne and Shirley, I believe, was also a spin-off of Happy Days.
It was, yeah. And so was Joni and Chachi.
But
or Joni
the
loves
problem
Chachi.
with that then, though, Lambo, is in the 90s, like, unless we watched, like, all those old shows, which we didn't have as easy access to as we do now with the streaming services, like, the reason they rebooted them is because, oh, these were beloved then, we can reboot them now and, like, cash in on them. But now, it's like, well, these shows are doing really well on these streaming platforms. People can now, who have, like, now grown to love them, now's a good time to continue them. And it's a different thing, and the saving grace to this is, with it being Mike Judge, the new Beavis and Butthead was a home run.
Well, that's kind of why I feel like we would absolutely, it's a home run no matter what, right away. You know,
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all going to come down to how they treat some of the characters, because I don't know how much I've talked about King of the Hill on this show, like on Nostradamus.
Well, so that's why I'm kind of saying like maybe we should wait for another episode. We should like push it.
I'm just giving my impressions like coming in, and then maybe we'll find out I'm completely wrong or I'm completely right.
Of course.
But I'm just gonna make one comment that in the early like first 6 seasons of the show, Peggy Hill is entirely tolerable and not an awful human being. But in the last half of the series, she's an inhuman monster.
This is
I'm
true.
just gonna say it.
But I mean, there is no but. I can't really.
Yeah.
Not for Hank. There's not.
Oh.
Hey.
We should have a once the show comes out, we should have a reaction episode.
We'll have a post-mortem where we discuss it.
Anyway, sorry we hijacked the podcast to talk about King of the
No.
Hill.
Don't even mention that. Like, this is the conversations that I love.
Right. Like I said, but I think we're gonna have a really good one when all that kind of comes to pass. Because even How I Met Your Father started back up again, and there's things to talk about, and I'm excited to just talk about reboots and how some of them suck and some of them don't.
Didn't we do an entire episode on reboots?
Years ago, we might as well reboot it.
Everything else is getting rebooted.
That episode's the Nostradamus podcast, but it's a reboot.
Yep.
Well, that's the episode. When we get there, that's mark it down. Somebody put it down in the notebook.
We have a notebook.
I mean, I have a bunch of unnamed Google Doc files that I have notes in that I can never find because I never named them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been waiting for a chance to get into the Nostradamus bank account so I can actually start doing stuff. But like, you guys won't.
What bank account? We don't have any money. No
This
one pays
podcast
us.
is brought to you by Nordstrom.
We've only lost thousands
Nordstrom.
of dollars.
It's brought to you by ourselves. We paid ourselves to do it. NordVPN.
I mean, Lambo really has. If anybody's put more money into this, it's Lambo.
Can I make an announcement?
Oh, no.
Sure.
I just got an email. My horror movie got accepted in the Gettysburg Film Festival.
No way.
Are you kidding?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
The Creature
That's
Feature
awesome.
Weekend. I am selected to be in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's happening.
Do you get paid for this kind of
That's-
thing?
No. No.
He could win an award, though.
Could win an award.
I mean, his short film has already won an award.
I'm an award-winning
Lambo is-
director.
Yep.
And it's the
Lambo
first
is
time you've
officially
ever
an
done
award-winning
it.
director. Does this technically mean I'm an award-winning actor?
Yeah, you are.
Well,
Oh, wow.
hold on. Wait, hold on. Did you win an award
Yeah.
for something?
What's the
mean,
No, but the movie I was in won an award.
what's the film
Doesn't
festival
mean
called?
you're-
It's called the Creature Feature Weekend.
When is it?
It's March 17th, so St. Patrick's Day.
Maybe we should do a special thing and go to Gettysburg and
Oh, you could
Vlog
do
it
You
or
could do. You
vlog it
could
and
vlog
stuff.
it.
Yeah, we'll vlog it. That'll be fun.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'll
Congrats.
bring my iPhone to take video.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm sorry for hijacking the podcast. I
Jesus.
apologize.
No,
I mean-
again, this is how it's supposed to go, right, Punk?
Right, Punk.
It's a podcast,
This is
but
yours
everyone
now.
hijacks it.
Write that down as a
There's a title.
yeah. Write that down as a title. Nostradamus podcast, but it's hijacked.
We don't have to write it down. Whoever's putting the episode together is gonna hear it.
I got
and be
it.
like, oh yeah, that was the title.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Love it.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Punk, you
man.
might have had something for us to say.
We can say a lot of things. I mean,
Gazebo.
gazebo or
I just like the
pergola.
word gazebo.
Yeah.
I'm
Say a sentence
disappointed
that
I
has never
can't
been
see
said
either
before.
of you two.
Yeah, I know. Like, Dad and I are on video.
I see it. I have to hook my camera up and stuff, and I'm not doing it.
Oh, it's one USB.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Oh my god.
I'm on the jankiest setup right now because all my stuff is like boxed away.
Oh man.
There was a flood.
So, actually, you know what? We'll bring up a topic. I've been seeing a lot of posts and news articles on Tesla and Steam. Also, Sony is working with, I believe, Hyundai? they're working together to build a car that can play video games.
Oh, I saw that.
Well,
Like,
I can say this for Sony. It worked out really well when they paired up with, or was it their own company that put out that phone that also played video games? That was great.
Let me do a Google search.
The
quick.
Xperia.
Was it the Xperia?
I think they had the Xperia phone.
Yeah.
And, like they had a laptop as well.
Search.
I mean, the laptops are fine, but like...
Search for
Tablet. Sorry, not laptop.
press release, Girls in Trouble, and Metallica.
What? You're looking on internets. But I think it's very interesting that we are now going to get into an era where our car will just drive us somewhere and we can just play a video game.
Yeah. So announced last week at CES 2023, Sony and Honda. Honda's new smart car prototype seems to be taking a page from Elon Musk's Tesla, letting folks boot up a PS4 and 5 games via its interior screens. But Sony may also be planning to use the car as a way to advertise. Oh God, it has a curse word right there. I don't know why. Right in the thing here, I almost said it too.
Just say it. I can bleep you.
Shit on the outside of it while driving you around. Oh, so it's gonna have a screen on the outside that advertises things.
Right.
I said the last thing of the.
That's such crap.
The last thing of the.
Are they going to pay you?
I don't know, but the last part of the
It might
article
offset the
says.
cost.
It says, "Welcome to the future. It sucks."
Yeah. No, I am not driving a car that's gonna basically like put me in a frickin' billboard.
Wow.
And what would it be advertising?
I was saying, I feel,
is it
I
gonna
feel
be
like
Sony
there's
products,
some,
or is it?
there's some dystopian sci-fi movie where that already happened. I'm sure.
It's called the Aflia. Sony and Honda's new smart car is a joint venture between two large companies designed to leverage both Sony's advanced tech and Honda's decades of car manufacturing.
Give your source real quick.
Katsu.com.
Oh, Kotaku. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Kotaku.
Yeah, they're a reliable source.
No, they are. They're good.
100%. Yeah, usually.
I mean, I can find another source.
No, theirs is
No,
fine.
it's fine. It's fine.
No.
They're-
Pants just has problems with some of their opinions on game reviews and stuff.
Oh, well.
Some of their opinions in general, but I still read them every day. I still go to their website and check for articles and stuff.
Right. So,
But no.
So,
their opinions on games are crap.
so there's been this possibility for a long time, ever since they, like there was the mom van back in the old days that had like the little TV and a crappy DVD player attached to it, so the kids could sit in the back and watch old SpongeBob episodes.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of. Like, because back in the day, you would see those cars go by, like, oh, those people have it big.
Well,
like, that they're like, they got monies, and you're like, I wish I had that. I wish I could watch a little TV while I drove in the back of the car for 10 minutes.
Yeah, instead we had to sit in the back of the car with the Game Boy, and every time you'd go past a street light, you'd make another
couple
couple
moves. 3
moves.
seconds. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that is real.
Okay.
That is real.
Two things. Number one, just buy a light for your Game Boy. There were 50 million of them made by different companies. Number two, it was even before that. Like, do you remember them like selling screens that you could hook your PlayStation 1 into and then like a power pack that plugged into the cigarette lighter so you could play your PlayStation 1 in the car?
Those things were actually difficult. I don't know where in general retail they sold them, honestly, because
I don't know either, but I always saw them.
Rare to come across. I don't know.
That's
I don't know
existed.
anyone who personally had them. There was a GameCube one.
Yep.
And someone.
Oh, there was one. There was one for the Xbox, one for the PS2,
and the
like
Series
Series
S and X. Somebody did a Kickstarter to build one.
Yeah.
And it's as much as the Series S. So.
There's a really cool one out for the Xbox. Oh, yeah. Never mind. You just said S.
Yes,
right?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What am I thinking? I thought you were talking about like the 360 or the one.
one?
I mean, there is a really cool one out, and it's called the Steam Deck.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there is one big difference between that and this, and that's they are saying that basically the car will drive itself while you play.
That's insane.
Could you
rather than
could you imagine
that's
being a PC builder and like where would you store that and you're like, all right, I gotta update my graphics card in my car.
Oh man, Linus Tech Tips is gonna have a heyday with this one, big time.
Yeah, I think even just mentioning that kind of a thing, just it feels dystopian. It feels like, oh man,
It's weird. Like it's like what the future. It's like what we thought the future was going to look like today.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Self-driving cars need work. They definitely need work, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, none of them are so technically self-driving. Like all of them, you have to still keep your hands on the wheel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
still.
they're what is it?
Right, so,
Driving
like-
assist or something like that. They're
Yeah.
supposed to call it.
Did you see the Tesla video
Yeah.
of the one hitting the kid? Like,
I didn't say
Yeah.
no. I thought you were gonna say about the
Yeah.
one like doing a parallel park and just totally messing up the parallel park. But what hit a kid?
Yes.
What?
there was a guy that wanted to prove that the technology wasn't that good, so they put up like dummies and like the Tesla hit the dummy kid like every single time.
All right. You misrepresented that story immensely. It was gonna either be really
because
hilarious
it's
or
funny
not.
that way.
I'm not liable. We're an LCC or an LLC.
LLC, LCC.
LCC
We're a
is
community college.
But yeah, like I think they are putting the cart before the horse with this, and like they're just getting too far ahead of themselves because like it's not there.
It's a
not
sleek
there
looking
yet.
car though.
Is it
Was it the
sleeker
Sony
looking
one?
than the Cybertruck?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a. I mean, the wheels are ugly, but man, the rest of the car.
Cybertruck looks like something from Logan's Run, like from the 70s. It does not.
It looks like something from the N64.
Yeah. It looks like
doesn't have
what
enough
it looks like what the
polygons.
N64 thought a car looked like. So
Exactly. Yeah, there's not enough polygons, but and you know what? I'm gonna throw it back to like, Sony coming out with their gaming phone, and that was back when they, I think that was back when they released the Vita, or was it the PSP?
that was the Xperia or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god! So the car is going to also have a VR AR aspect of the driving experience. So Epic is planning on helping Sony and Honda with that part of it.
See-
Epic also stated that the in-car information and entertainment systems are becoming more relevant to customers' purchases.
I was going to say
deciding-
AR stuff in a car is super cool. I think that could be super helpful someday.
that could be
Okay.
VR
You know-
scares me.
I
Like,
mean, imagine like like a little like hologram of the the road map and stuff like shows up on like the side of the windshield and like it
And
gives
this
you
is from-
information about there's so
Yeah.
many cool things about that. You kind of ask it, where's the closest Shih
So-
Tzu Wawa or
well, they have.
So I didn't think of that at all. When you said AR, I was thinking like they would do a pop up of like you're driving through Jurassic Park. I was like, how is that helpful at all? Like you're gonna be distracted. You're not gonna know where you're going or what you're hitting.
Nah, but the
My immediate thought was, and I hate to bring it back to this, but there's an episode of The Critic where the dad, who's insane, is driving the car and he's swerving back and forth, and the mom's freaking out. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Can't you see we're in danger?" And it's him looking out the windshield, and Donkey Kong is like throwing barrels at him, and he's trying to dodge them.
that's great.
And that's when you said AR and driving, that's what I thought of immediately. I'm like, do not play games in your car like this. That is dangerous.
No, I've never seen it in person, but I've seen the videos of where they have like the dashboard info on the windshields and stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff is cool. Like, it's
My
neat.
parents' old Pontiac Aztec did that.
No way, really?
Yeah, but all it was is there was just a red display like right under the windshield that shined bright enough to reflect it on the bottom of the windshield there.
I mean, it's still kind of cool.
No,
It's
it
funny.
was cool, and to be perfectly honest, like it was easier than looking down to see like your speedometer and your gas tank.
And
Yeah.
You know,
talking about that, it's funny how much tech was in old cars that kind of went away and then came back.
yeah. Well, honestly, it's because of the cars it was in. Like you look at that, like the Pontiac Aztec. How well did that do?
I mean, I
Right.
remember you like. I thought you were talking about some. I didn't know why you hated some like ancient civilization that had been wiped out centuries ago. But like, I remember like some conversation starting when we were like really young. You were like, I hate Aztecs, and I
Oh, because they're dumb looking. They're so dumb, and they wanted like a canary yellow one, and it's like, oh my god, I hate this.
There was. Talk about old technology technology in old cars. I'm trying to find it. There was a car that was made, I want to say, in like the 50s that detected when it rained outside. Like it had a sensor and had all these crazy things. I think I remember seeing
Like
it
it
on
had the auto wipers.
something like that. It would like roll up your windows and stuff for you.
That's
What?
dangerous. Because I'm sure they didn't have like the little thing that detects whether your arm's in the window or not.
And you have to know, like, that was a powerful motor.
Yeah.
So it would just cut something off.
Yeah, it was like a
Right.
grandpa motor, you know?
Yeah.
Back in those grandpa days, you know, like child labor and stuff like that. They were telling the 5-year-old Jimmy, "Hey, the machine broke. Why don't you go inside of it and pull the thing out of the gear?" You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why grandpa didn't have any eyebrows.
My gosh.
No,
Sorry. The horrors of
I don't know how you
of
follow
child
that.
labor. I'm sorry.
I thought we were still looking up this car.
Yeah. So the number one thing that I'm, you know, the Switch, for example, kind of has changed car travel for a lot of families and stuff. Talking just with a lot of people who have kids, you know, the kid, like I remember car trips growing up, and they were miserable. You know, you'd sit there
yeah.
and you would, you know, it would just be a horrible time. You know, where are we going? When are we getting there? They were like, read a magazine, play, read a book. You know, I'm like, I get motion sick. This is awful. And,
I remember
just
coloring in the
nowadays-
car once, and I threw up all over the place.
Awesome.
every time we went on vacation in the summer, my parents would let me buy 2 comic books to read on the trip. Do you know how long it takes to read a comic book?
About 15
Like, it'd been 20 minutes and we were
Yeah,
done.
I was gonna say. But I even traveling in Ubers and stuff like that, there was a huge influx for a little while of people like putting their Switch in the back so that Uber riders could, you know, play some Switch or whatever for a couple minutes on their trip, and it was getting people some extra 5-star ratings here and there. And
Yeah.
you know, so I think gaming in a car, especially all the handheld gaming, has been, you know, there's a legacy of that going back, and there's modern things of it, but like incorporating it into it.
And the problem is, though, with that is you are in the back of the car. With
Right.
Tesla, the screen's up front in the center. So, I mean, I guess you can lean over and look, but you're not that close. So it's more for the driver or, I mean, of course, the passenger who's right up front with you. Well, it's who it should be for.
Do
I
Teslas have
guess.
the screens in the back of the headrest?
I don't own a Tesla. I don't know.
I know someone that does. I will not contact this person, but
I'm looking it up because
Tesla screens.
I'm assuming
here-
they probably do some sort of rear entertainment.
I mean,
They would have to, right?
we're honestly bringing like Pimp My Ride to the everyday person, you know?
Yeah.
We are.
I remember
Well, I mean, that's...
a few
I mean,
years
the-
ago there was a commercial on TV. It was Jack White, and he was jamming out on guitar, and like there was an amplifier built into the car. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Vaguely.
And like there was some car they were selling. I'm looking for it, and when I went looking for it online, I found so this past year Marshall just put out a car, like a BMW Mini Marshall themed car. So they're
Marshall-
literally
Marshall
like
amplifiers? Wow.
Oh, I'm thinking Marshall's, the department store. And I'm like, that's what?
That's
it
weird, I
took me
know.
a minute to realize it's not what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a car sound system, but it's actually then got like an actual legit guitar amp built into the very back of the trunk.
So when you hit the horn, is it like a Zakk Wylde squeal? Is
That would be amazing.
Well, I mean, you can program your horn nowadays on a lot of cars to do whatever you want.
That seems so
is that what they call
unsafe,
it?
though. Like,
Yeah.
What,
I
to
remember-
reprogram your horn?
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on what you reprogram it to do. Like,
Or you have like moods for your horn.
there's a lot of things I would want to say that we could put in there, but I'm not sure I should say them.
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis at this time of year in this location,
Contained
this hemisphere.
entirely within your car.
Yes. Can I see it?
No.
No.
Oh my god.
But here's my other problem with gaming in the car. Most gaming that people want to do is online. How in God's name are you going to play online in your car?
Oh, you have internet in a Tesla. There's no. Sorry, I got distracted.
My Chevy
What?
my Chevy Equinox has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But how good is it?
It's 4G. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and there
It's not
is
bad, but-
Starlink does actually provide like I know another Elon Musk thing, but Starlink actually does provide like broadband internet to a lot of like places now, and that is the way a lot of Teslas are connecting because your Tesla itself can connect to Wi-Fi, which is crazy. So now like that's one of the thing apparently a lot of people are doing. So I mean. It is a thing.
I mean, that's fine and all that it can connect to Wi-Fi, but
Right.
if you're like on a road trip and playing,
that's what I'm
like,
saying. So
if
like,
you get to a
No,
so like
it has a
Starlink.
satellite or
Yeah.
whatever that connects. So you actually have you're a traveling hotspot pretty much,
oh,
and
All
you
right.
have whatever data. So I don't know how well it's going to be, especially in certain areas, or I mean, probably in the cities and stuff like that, it'll be a lot better until you get out our way and kind of hit dead zones.
well,
But-
that's always been my complaint with online gaming and like streaming and whatnot is like in the United States, like internet is really great in some spots and in other spots, it's not.
However-
like, there are some spots you just can't get it.
But if this is kind of like a system that while your car is parked at home, that you could like remotely download games to the car so you could play them when you get to it, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I just don't want to spend more time in my car than I need to. I think about the the funnest.
But this
like,
is for the
ways to use
traveler.
it. Yeah.
I guess it's
see
not
that.
really for us.
I see that,
Like
yeah.
if we would travel, like if I traveled for work or something like that, or with the family a lot, this would be perfect.
Yeah. Or if I was still in college and like sat in my car quite a bit.
There you go. Yeah.
I was
But, I mean,
gonna
in
think
college, where the
it's been a
money-
while since I would like sleep in my car for an hour between classes. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy driving though. Like when I recently went to Pittsburgh for my new tattoo, like that's a 3.5, 4 hour drive. I enjoyed the drive. I enjoyed just listening to music and like catching the scenery as I go by.
Yeah,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but you're also not enjoying playing video games either.
Are you saying that in general I'm not enjoying video games,
I mean,
or I'm just not while I'm
only
driving?
you can answer that, but like while you're driving.
I mean, do you really want to get into my mental health right now, or should we save that for
That's another
episode?
podcast. That's another podcast.
That's another podcast. It's a podcast, but it'd be hilarious if it wasn't so sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
I'm sorry, did I bring everybody down?
But talking about like rear monitors, there is a company. Funny enough, it's called Pimp My EV. They sell a rear entertainment screen for Teslas.
there you
So
go.
I'm assuming it doesn't come stock. Maybe it's upcharge or a higher model or
a
something
mod,
like that.
some kind
But
of mod.
yeah,
Or maybe it's
So-
a monthly subscription plan.
That's stupid. That's for stupid people.
Well, they
to
do that
like.
with cars now.
Talking about that, there is Audi. Audi is doing
Audi.
a monthly subscription plan, and if you get into it, you have higher acceleration in your car. Like they
Yeah,
throttle
it's-
your engine.
Yeah, it's bull crap. That is the scummiest thing ever.
Like, could you imagine? Like, you spend all this money on a luxury car, and you're like, hey, are you gonna pay us some more every month?
Nickel and dime you for more crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, no. Well,
some of the
you can't go over 60.
Some of the higher brands, and before I mention anything, let me do a quick Google search. Some higher brands were putting like cruise control behind a paywall.
It's
But that's
so
you know
stupid.
It is, but the scary part is, how do they control it? Like, it has to be a remote feature where they just hit a button and they have access to your car to update it.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Yeah.
So this is from a website called theregister.com. BMW puts heated seats and other features behind a paywall.
That was the
Heated
one I knew
seats.
about, BMW.
Yeah. So the reporting that the automaker is offering drivers in South Korea heated seats for $18 a month.
What?
That's bull crap.
$300 fee to access Apple CarPlay, and $8.50 a month for automated high beams. And $11 to save the videos from the built-in cameras.
That's
That's
what the
grand.
crap? Like, oh my god. Like car companies don't make enough money as it is.
right.
That's such crap. Just charge an up fee at the beginning when they buy the car.
Or just
Or increase
don't.
the
I'm not-
MSRP.
Yeah, like I'm just
Yeah.
I don't want to have to pay monthly. Like I don't want to have to pay monthly for Xbox Live or Game Pass. Like, I will pay the yearly price right away and be like, I don't want to think about this every month. I don't want the monthly charge. Just give me this.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's terrifying. I had read not long ago, and this kind of ties in and might be a good way for us to transition to our next topic. Maybe, I don't know. You guys decide. There's a short story by a guy named James Yu called Override, and it's a short story about. I guess the whole short story takes place inside of 1 second. And it's a short story about two car AIs communicating with each other about who should survive a car crash.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because that's the future. Like that's the decision that, like, I mean, you know, if people want to start playing video games in their cars while they're driving down the street, you know, and just like all of
What's
the,
your KD?
Yeah.
Is it higher? Is it
Exactly.
pretty low?
Well,
All
and,
right.
and that's the point.
Cross 'em out.
You know, and like what's really messed up in the story, they actually like the one car kind of you know, assumes that because one person is more important and has more like influence and stuff like that, that they should survive, and then there's all kinds of like kind of discussion back and forth between the AIs about it, and it's just like a terrifying prospect that, like, if the more we give our autonomy over to, like, you know, machines, yeah,
Machines.
machines,
Terminator 3,
terrifying.
the rise of the machines.
Well, it's plus it's not just that too. Like what we were just talking about, like the paywalls and stuff like that. What if they're like help, like safety features or something like that? They
Exactly.
start limiting.
Yeah,
and, like
I think the day
That would have to be illegal.
Well,
There's
no,
no way.
But what if somebody could hack the car and take one of those features out? You know, like
Right.
that's a terrifying prospect. You
it
know?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as I love technology and like I find it fascinating and it can do a lot of amazing things, like, man, you got to ask yourself, when should we stop, you know, or slow down
Well,
and
it'll-
maybe think about the actual implications of things.
I just want to be a brain in a robotic body. Then we can stop.
Preaching to the choir, my friend. Preaching to the choir.
I just showed you guys like two video clips of what that's like earlier today.
That was RoboCop 2
Yeah.
from
Can
like
we-
1991. That doesn't count.
No, that's
Can we
what it's
put
gonna
that
be like.
second one?
Yeah,
The second one, like as our thumbnail.
that would be amazing. We should do that. Yeah, I'll make the second one the thumbnail. Yeah. Oh my god. Dad, I'll send you the
Fantastic.
video. It's pretty good.
Awesome. Can't wait.
It was good. By the way, Lambo, how in God's name was I supposed to transition into our next topic?
I figured you'd find a way.
We're talking about RoboCop
I mean-
now.
Okay, hold on. Do you know what I love more than RoboCop?
What?
Hot dogs.
Do ya?
I love hot dogs.
Is the hot dog the actual sandwich, or is it the meat?
Sweet mother of God.
Sorry.
Okay, if we're trying to talk about hot dogs, it wasn't really a real topic that I had on my list, but we can. I was thinking about this the other day when I was making a hot dog. All right, I'm on camera and it looks like I'm holding a hot dog. And I was trying to think, like, what's the proper way to dress a hot dog?
So why don't we start with what's our favorite way to dress it? Or do you mean like actually put clothes on it?
No, condiments.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about condiments.
Got it.
Because, like, I've always put my condiments first and then the hot dog.
Okay.
I actually do like that. I do that with all of my all the goopy condiments.
Yes.
So
ketchup, mustard, and stuff like that.
Relish I do put on top, personally. I like the sandwiching effect.
I still put if I do chopped onions, I'll put that on the bottom. But cheese, I'll do on top, if I do any cheese.
See, the benefit of putting it on the bottom is that it doesn't fall out. However,
Right.
the mouthfeel is different.
I agree.
You know?
It's grosser. The best hot dog I ever had, R.I.P. Ocean City, Maryland's Wiener Man. Okay? There's a place there called Wiener Man. Okay? And they had, like, how big around were those things? Dad, how big around were those things?
All I can think of is in American Pie, Stifler goes up to the girl and says, I'm 11 inches around.
I'm sorry. I can't get over the Wiener Man. How big and round were those things? I'm sorry.
So-
I'm like 5 right now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. These were easily foot-long hot dogs. Like, I don't know. I'm making a really, really large around.
They were big wieners.
Yeah. Now, so they actually dress their hot dogs exactly like Punk does, where anything you got, like, chili or onions or other condiments, but the cheese would go on top. So if you got like a chili cheese dog, the cheese would be underneath, hot dog, and then the chili underneath, hot dog, and then the cheese on top. So.
Oh, chili. I would always put the chili on top. I feel like the chili is like a topping.
Yeah. No, so I was gonna say that I prefer 2 ways to eat a hot dog. Like if I'm gonna make a hot dog, one is ketchup and mustard, and if it's just ketchup and mustard, I put both on top. That's just how I do it. I like to zigzag the mustard and then a straight line of ketchup.
That's like the very like commercial hot dog.
It's
right
a Coney
there.
Island style, and it's classic and it's delicious.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I do a chili dog, the chili's on top, and then it's either with mustard or it's with cheese, and those are on the bun before the dog.
I get that.
Unless I'm doing it one of my new favorite ways, and that's with peanut butter, where I slice the hot dog lengthwise,
Is
put
that
peanut
really
butter
your favorite
in the dog.
way? I think you said
No.
something different after we ate it.
I'm pretty sure I did too, but
Yeah.
it was a joke.
Man, you can't go wrong with a chili cheese dog. Like, absolutely.
Shout out to the.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say shout out to the Squeeze In Sunbury, Pennsylvania,
Yes.
who makes probably my favorite chili dog ever.
Is that the place
sweet
where you-
chili and
I'm sorry, go on.
I was gonna say sweet chili and or the hot chili is fantastic. A little bit of both on a hot dog is perfection.
Is that the one place that you go and you order an up or a down?
No,
and one...
that's Coney Island out in Shamokin.
Yeah. I've had that. That is beyond amazing as well.
You know what? I maybe we just have to take a Nurstradamus field trip out to Squeeze In sometime with all of us and just get some chili dogs.
I've never had a chili dog, but I don't think I would order a hot dog at an establishment like to eat.
Well, this
Like,
place
a
only
hot
serves
dog. I feel
hot
to me
dogs.
it.
Yeah, this place just does hot dogs. That's it.
Yeah, I
It's
don't think
literally a hot dog place.
for me a hot dog is like a home meal. Like I would grill it or something like that. I feel like it's just a meal, something I make at home. I don't think I would order it out. I don't know.
The best ones I've ever had were ordered out. I'm not gonna lie. So I mean, people can make them in their backyard and they're this way or that. But like the best ones I've ever had were like at a sporting event or a musical event or Yeah,
Yeah,
at a
because
restaurant.
you think about it, like, you make a hot dog at home, you don't put the care into that.
It's actually
hot
the thing
like,
you care the least about. They're usually like on the side
I
of the grill.
just throw it in the microwave.
Yeah,
and,
most of the time it's a minute in the microwave. You pull it out, it's piping hot, and still ice in the middle.
You guys
No,
are
it's like
monsters.
bursting.
What is wrong with you? Like, I am careful when I make my hot dog, and like I do put the prep into it. Like, I want my hot dog to look nice, and I want to make sure it's cooked evenly on every side. Like, a hot dog can be a piece of art.
Only because it's simple. You can make art.
So
with
I put
simple
mine in the
things.
toaster.
Is it one of those hot dog toasters?
That's gross.
I think I have one of those.
A hot dog. Oh yeah. I remember seeing those.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I have one, and I inherited it from Protzko.
I think I remember that because
I don't know if I've ever used
it had
it.
a separate bun warming area, right?
Yeah, there's 2 slots for hot dogs and 2 slots for buns. You toast everything all together.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
If anyone was gonna have one, it was gonna be him.
Right.
He loved chili dogs. That's he's the one who introduced us to the squeeze in. So 2 more things I have. Number 1, actually one of the best hot dogs I ever ate was at the movie theater out in like Montage Mountain, the theater.
Okay.
They did some kind of crazy hot dog with all kinds of crap on it. I forget what style it was, but it was like jalapeno peppers and onion and mustard and some other sauce and I think pickles and stuff on it, and it was delicious. But my question to you guys is, what do you think about the concept of a wing dog that they have at Buffalo Wild Wings, where it's like a hot dog, but the meat is not a hot dog, it's a big long chicken finger?
No. Nope.
That's
it's not a
not-
hot
yeah.
dog. It's not a hot dog.
Yeah.
That's not a hot dog.
Because a hot dog...
It's not a hot dog.
A hot dog is traditionally, like, it's a style of sausage. That's what it is, you know? And that a chicken stick is not.
Is it like a breaded chicken finger?
Or is it just like a...
Yeah.
Or is it just like...
Hold
So
on,
it's a chicken
Dad,
sandwich.
I didn't quite hear you. Did you say a chicken stick?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So Punk is thinking like a fried like chicken stick. I'm thinking like
Yeah.
like a bare piece of chicken meat that's a rod.
No. This was a batter
cylindrical.
fried chicken finger that they put in a hot dog bun, and you could get it multiple styles like a hot dog.
Yeah. No.
Like it's like a chicken breast, and they just cut it up so it looks like a stick.
A chicken
So it's
rod,
a
if
chicken
you will.
sandwich. It's not a chicken wing dog. It's a chicken sandwich.
It is. It's just a different version of a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. I will say, so Dad might remember, we went to go to a concert years ago in Philly, and before the concert we found this place on South Street in Philadelphia. It's not open anymore because we've walked by it a bunch of times and it's not there anymore, but it was called Hot Diggities.
Yeah.
And they had
Nice.
25 different kinds of hot dogs. And our buddy
Ooh.
Carl, he grabbed the weirdest one. Like, no, they had all kinds of crazy stuff. I got one that was really similar to the one you were talking about, where they had like, it was like a Fiesta dog that had like jalapenos and it was like a salsa and that kind of thing on it. His was really weird though. Carl got one. It was a hot dog, and they wrapped the hot dog in breaded fish, and then they covered it in tartar sauce and served it alongside of it with like so it was like a fish and chips dog pretty much, with like
Nope.
fries and stuff. It looked
I
delicious.
would try
and
it.
He loved it. He was like, "This is crazy good." So.
So is this place like a Baskin Robbins where you can get like all 25 dogs?
They actually did have like different like weird trios you could do of them for like less money. And the best thing was they served a bunch of them in almost like little cones, and you would place the dog like in these little wooden like slots, almost like a little test tube would go in. And so you'd sit it there and then like eat out of it. It was really weird. It was really strange.
Oh God.
Do you remember that though, Dad?
That's weird.
Yeah, there's a reason it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, because anyone who ate there wouldn't have survived the pandemic. Let's just throw it out there. Yeah.
There is one other option with a hot dog I do want to bring up here before we end this podcast, and that's how do you guys feel about sauerkraut?
I like hot dogs that are cooked in it. but I'm not a big fan of the actual sauerkraut.
Okay. See, I was gonna say, like, back when I was younger, every New Year's my mom would make sauerkraut and always put like pork chops and hot dogs in it and let it sit there all day cooking.
Yeah, that's the classic.
See, that's good. That's
Yes.
the meat that comes out of that is really good. I'm not a fan of eating the
delicious.
actual cabbage though. That's the only thing.
We would do the same, and recently we've been celebrating New Year's and we were making, pork and sauerkraut, and I put hot dogs in it, and Callie, my wife, just looks at me kind of like, what are you doing? Why are you putting hot dogs in this? I'm like, what are you talking about? This is what you do.
I will say
Exactly, right?
I do prefer sauerkraut that has not tasted the luscious world of meats. Like it is a different experience, and it's slightly like better, more tart, and more like its own thing. I feel like when you cook a whole bunch of stuff in it, like everything kind of tastes like everything. It does good things to the meat. I totally agree with you guys. Like that's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
But it does change the sauerkraut. So I think sauerkraut with and without the meat in it is a different experience. And
I get that.
No, I can agree with that, but I was gonna say, because I did it for the first time in a long time this past year, because Mrs. Dr. Pants does not like sauerkraut at all. She actually just hates cabbage in general. But I got a small thing, or she got me a small thing of sauerkraut, and I cooked it, and I made sure to like sweeten it a little bit, some brown sugar, some apple juice, put the hot dogs in it, let it sit there all day, and oh my god, those were some of the best hot dogs I've had in forever.
My mother-in-law this past New Year's made homemade sauerkraut, like fermented. Like she grew the cabbage, fermented it herself in a big bucket, and honestly, it was probably the best sauerkraut I ever had.
That sounds really good.
And I'm not a big fan of just eating the sauerkraut. But
I
it was
will
pretty good.
I will throw it on my hot dog though, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I every now and then it's good. It's not something I do all the time, but every now and then it's good.
You
on
can
a hot
tell
dog.
when it's about to turn, and it's really when it loses its toothsome mouthfeel thing, and it's just gross and limpy and gross. That's not good anymore. But
You don't want a limpy mouthfeel.
You don't want a limpy mouthfeel, right? And it's still got to have that little bit of like crunchiness to it, and then it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There got to be some bite through.
Yeah.
It's brown. And that turns really brown. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Are we talking about the hot dog or the sauerkraut?
and it turns really brown.
Okay, so when my mom made sauerkraut, it was always brown, but that was because of like she used apple cider and brown sugar and all this stuff to cook it, so it always kind of ended up brown.
Yeah.
It was amazing though.
Makes sense.
It was
All right,
amazing.
I think that's a good place to stop that, because this is. I feel like we've hit the full spectrum.
All the emotions tonight. All the emotions.
We have, and hot dogs has been the biggest motion. But thank
And I
you.
said something nice about my mother.
Your mom was a good cook.
We'll just work on it once a podcast.
No, she wasn't.
Once a podcast, we'll say something nice about your mother, and then that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it back at you, Dad. Though no, she wasn't. But
The food
discussion for another day.
The food I've had from her has always been pretty good.
I think with this podcast, we've just planned like 5 other podcasts. So we're good.
No, I want to do a food podcast, food episode, like all food. Interesting stuff.
Okay.
Dad's like, this is my wheelhouse. Let's talk food. If I can grill in the
But-
background, it would be better.
We can talk
that would be
food,
great.
or if we can't talk food, we'll talk drums. But I have no one to talk drums with, so
I'll talk
I
drums.
Well,
I
and
go
here's
to
the thing,
food.
to segue into that, for all our YouTube viewers and even the listeners who may see it in the thumbnail, we have added Dad as an official icon in the Nerdstradamus banner, and he has his own profile picture. It is him drumming with tongs, because Dad is all about the drumming and the cooking. That is his thing. And you may notice the fruit from a bunch of our intros from season 2,
That's a
the
deep
dark
cut.
years.
That's a deep
The
cut.
dark, yeah, seriously.
Those were the dark years.
So we need to throw out our
But-
sponsor to have paid for that design.
I swear to God, Dad.
Oh, NordVPN. But anyway,
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Punk ended.
Do all the fun stuff. Let us know if you like hot dogs and how you dress them. Are you excited for gaming in your car? Do you have a favorite steamed hams? I don't know.
And King of the
Do all
Hill.
the fun stuff.
Do you want to hear more about
Let
King
us
of the
know.
Hill?
Yeah, reboots. What is your favorite reboot? Is it Reboot the Reboot? Yeah, like, what's it, that, all that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably watching some cool gameplay of something. If you're listening to this on whatever we put it on, you're probably
we
working.
put it on Podomatic, so it goes on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, like all that stuff.
Spotify.
Yeah, it's good. It's all over there, but you should look it on YouTube and check out our other videos as well.
And hey, if you want to find out our other stuff, always check out our link tree. We have a website that links to everything where we are, so always check that out.
I've been Punk,
I'm Lambo.
I'm Dr. Pants.
And I'm Dad.
and we'll catch you some other time.